Welcome. Today, my guest is Clay Stevens, and he's written an Amazon #1 bestseller, Ask, Listen, and Repeat, which you can get at AskListenRepeat.com. Clay is a sales trainer extraordinaire, and you can't believe how simple it is by connecting with people, how you can increase your sales. Clay, this is a phenomenally simple yet profound book. How you really teach people how to connect with others. Tell me how this has made success in your sales career using this formula.
Right. So the notion I've learned over the course of time is that we have to be able to connect with people on their terms. That is to say, we all have our own comfort zone of how we communicate with other people, and we're comfortable that way. And so we sort of think that everybody ought to communicate in that way. Except that the truth is that everyone has their own way, which may not be completely consistent with our way. So we have to be able to wear many hats. And the only way to find out how can I best communicate with you or any other person is to ask you questions and to get you to talk to me. So essentially, there's lots of things going on in conversations that we don't ever really teach people. What your personality type is, what your wants are, what your desires are, what your willingness to engage, what your commitment to make change in your life is, etc. And while all of that conversation is going on, yes, we're gathering data points so that we can help people get what they want, so that we can help serve them better, yes. And we're also, the book teaches us to be able to gather information that allows us to open people's relationship gateway so that we can communicate with them, so that they'll allow us in to really help them and really be able to serve them. So it's helped me over the past to be able to connect with people really quickly so that I can speak the language that's pertinent to the person I'm talking to, irregardless of how comfortable I might be in those conversations.
You know, back when I took sales training, my initial sales training back in the 80s, we learned things like mirroring and copying other people's body language and feeding back the words that they give you, you feed back to them. Looking back on it, it feels very manipulative and kind of icky. But your book doesn't seem manipulative. Tell me the difference between like this old-fashioned sales training and the new hip stuff you're bringing to it.
Well, the old guard, for which I was, of course, a part of, allowed us to be able to meet the conditions of victory for one person, the salesperson. I don't care if you really need my thing, but you're going to buy it, doggone it, and here are the 19 reasons why it actually is going to benefit your life in some way. But it was all talking at people instead of talking with people. And so I can really better position not only what I want to help you with, what I know can help you, but I want to do that in a way that helps you meet your conditions of victory. And here's what I know. If I can get you what you want, I will ultimately get what I want. But I have to put your needs, your wants, your desires, your communication strategies and desires ahead of my own. Then you'll tell me exactly everything I need to know in order for me to better serve you. Not just with single transactional sales, but for lifetime sales. So the value of a lifetime customer, of course, is exponentially greater than any one single transaction that I might be able to have. And you'll tell other people about me because you don't feel like I'm selling you. You feel like I'm sharing a way for you to have the life that you want, and I'm putting you in the driver's seat to be able to make that happen.
That's really profound. Let me go back a minute here, because you said that if you ask the questions and you really listen, that your potential customer is going to tell you what they want. Is that what I heard you say?
They'll tell you everything. They'll tell you stuff you don't even want or need to know, because they'll open up and they'll actually share with you things that are going on in your life, which of course helps you as a value provider. It helps you to be able to fully be able to serve their whole big life needs, which may be, in fact, almost always is greater than what you went into the conversation trying to help them with. So if you have multiple products, you may be saying, hey, I'm going to sell the headline product today, but they may buy the whole suite of things because now you know exactly how to talk about or position all of the things that you have that can help their whole big life, which of course helps them to become a marketing sneezer for you, a virus spreader about you, to be able to move forward.
I love that. Does it work for people in all kinds of sales, like direct sales and car sales and personal sales, or does it work better for certain types of industries?
Well, at the end of the day, think about what sales really is. I mean, let's just back up and say, well, sales are me getting, maybe a way for me to provide some value for you, et cetera, et cetera. But at the end of the day, what's really underneath all of that are relationships. Relationships are what people buy. Relationships are what get people to transact, get people to move towards us, and then with us to be able to move forward. And we have to build relationships. It's not a function of business. It's the absolute only way that we can do business is to build relationships with people. That's how we get people to come back over and over and over and over again. So if you're selling toothbrushes, that's great. If you're selling insurance, that doesn't matter. If you're building a network marketing business, that's okay. If you're selling, it doesn't matter. In fact, if you're selling how to get my kids to clean up their bedroom, that is a function of how we conduct life with each other to get you what you want, while at the same time I get what I want. And that's all about bridging the gap between where my relationship is today and where I need my relationship to go in order for us all to get along and get what we want and need so we can provide value for each other.
When people buy the book, Ask, Listen, and Repeat, they get some pretty cool downloads, one of which is a personal interaction key guide. And it talks about how to get that at the back of the book. So if you already have the book, or if you're going to get the book, make sure you go get your personal interaction key guide. That talks about the different styles, different types of people, and how you can learn to interact with all different kinds of people, and how to interact with different types of buyers. Will you explain how that works?
So the personal interaction key, personal interaction keys to begin with are what is my favorite communication style? Am I like a really hard charger? Do I want to be in control, or would I rather build relationships rather than get stuff done? What is my orientation toward? What is my natural way of being? And so when we understand that, then we can really help people move forward. Now, in the book, that's explained over the course of about 5 chapters of a 12-chapter book. So it's a key component to being able to help our lives be better. Now, the personal interaction key guidebook is a synopsis of all of those things done in bullet point style so that people can say, oh, I could really use this as a cheat sheet. Gee, I'm talking to Michelle today. What kind of person is Michelle? What does she care about? What are her desires? How do I get her to open up to me? How do I pick her lock, the lock of her relationship gateway, and get her to explain what it is really that she wants and what she's after? And how do I do that quickly? It's essentially 8 pages, 2 pages for each of the 4 personal interaction keys. And it allows me to very quickly go through this so that I can immediately really connect with people faster and with less frustration.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, I love that. And the book, I think you pull some of those different styles into the book because you've written it in a story. So it appeals to the people that like the story. Right at the beginning, it sort of says, if you're a bottom line person and just want the facts, go straight to this chapter. So you're appealing to that sort of person. Then there's all kinds of worksheets and formulas and things for, I don't know what kind of person that is, but someone that needs formulas and worksheets, I guess. I got a little stuck on the formula piece. So you actually have formulas that take you through and let you know where you are in the process as a salesperson in relating to your buyers. How does the formula work? Can you really put relationship in a formula? And it seems a little dry and not so heart-centered.
So in our relationship building with people, first of all of these formulas are your estimate of where you are. So let's take the relationship rating, which is one of the formulas. So the idea is, look, estimate what I think my relationship is with any other single person or group of people who I interact with on a semi-regular basis. So what do I think my relationship is with them? And if I think it's an 8 out of 10, then that's fine, except that is it really 8 out of 10? And so we work through a process to really help people understand based on their own experience with people, because I'm not imposing anything on you. I'm helping you work through a process that lets you examine where you really are with people so that you can become aware. Wait, my relationships aren't all that I want them to be. My relationship with my spouse, with my kids, with my business partners, etc. Now, what are some specific things that I can do now that I become aware that they aren't what I want them to be? How can I work through a process that will help me to improve them? The value of service score is another one that's like that. So what are some things that I need to do? So essentially these formulas, yes, they're mathematical, etc., but they're not super complex, of course, and I'm not a real math guy. So, so I had to sort of stretch to be able to make this work. But at the end of the day, it allows us to become aware that all is not well in our relationships with people, with the value of service that I provide with people, and based on my own life experience, how can I filter all of that in a way that's not detrimental to me? It's not meant to whack you. It's not meant to say you're bad, sick, or wrong. It's really meant to help you become aware that things aren't perfect and ways that you can move forward to improve your relationships. Why? So that we can create the results and the life that we want based on helping other people get what they want. So as we have a life of service, we help people by improving our relationships. And these are a set of formulas that make us aware and help us to move through processes that improve our relationships so that we can have the life we want, so that we can create the life we want without guessing or hoping that something is going to magically get better someday.
Yeah, amazing. Now, this is not your first Amazon #1 bestseller. You have another one, six figures in 6 months.
Right.
And
6 figures in 6 months.
6 figures in 6 months. And both books are easy to read, give so much insight on how to connect with your buyers. I would like you to leave our audience today with just a couple of tips.
So, #1, find out who is it that you're talking to. Quickly ascertain what is the preferred communication style of the person that I'm communicating with, either the group or the individual that I'm talking to. That would be #1. #2, find out what they would like their life to be like that it isn't now. And when those people start to talk to you, then and only then are you actually perfectly positioned to offer them the prescription or the remedy for their pain. That's the only time that you can really engage. So those are two things. Now, the overarching theme of all of this is that people have to know 3 things about you in order to fully engage with you. #1, they have to trust you. #2, they have to know that you are a professional. And #3, they have to know, or they have to feel like, that you care about them as much as you care about you. And then when they have those feelings, they'll open up with you, and then selling becomes a predictable pattern of order taking. And I don't mean that in a trivial way. I mean that in you give them some options and then say, hey, which of these options would be best for you? And because people have built a quick relationship with you, they trust you, they know that you're a professional and that you're really paying attention to them, that you really do care about them, they'll be honest with you and say, bing, 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 here's what I want, and here's what you have that helps me to be able to get that. And so how do I make that happen? And then, of course, we know how to serve them. We know what their intentions are. We know what our intentions are, so there's no misunderstanding. And we know now best how to serve them, get what they want their life to be. Even if that's, I don't want what you have today. We still have a relationship, and those people will almost always come back, or they'll almost always tell someone else about us because we didn't try to jam something down their throat that they didn't want or need.
It's really a more holistic way of looking at selling that feels more compassionate in today's age.
Right, because we're not serving our agenda only. Sales in the past has been positioned as, you're the salesperson, go sell. Well, I would prefer to share, and I don't want to close people. I want to have them be open. And when they're open, then my sales will always go astronomically higher than if I want what I want, irrespective of what you want.
Thank you, Clay. Appreciate you being on the show with me today.
And thank you, Michelle.